Welcome back to the Homestead Survivalist, guys. Today we're going to do some canning. Amy, my wife, and I are going to be doing some of this pressure canning. Today's going to be chicken. We're going to do some chicken thighs. You can do it if you got our natural. That's the best. I mean, straight out of your chicken stockpile. But you can get it from the store too as well. But today we're using 1.5 jars. And I'm going to do something different today too that I haven't seen anybody do. I like to add some flavor. I'm actually going to add some jalapeno peppers to the mix. So we'll move on here in a minute. Alright, so I added water to our stock pot. I did two quarts and 1 pint. It calls for, this is 22 quart. It calls for doing 2 quarts of water if it's at full capacity. But if it's not at full capacity, you add another pint of water. So that's what I did because we're not going to be at full capacity when we do all this stuff. So follow instructions on your pressure canner to the T. Hopefully you guys have that available when that came with the pressure canner. If you don't, look it up. Make sure you have all the information. All right, we got the stock pot going, bringing up the temperature. You can do that while you're doing your filling of your jars with the meat that you're going to be processing. And then we also have on the left side is water for stock that you're going to add to your jars to fill the rest of the gaps. You want to be about 1 inch from the top of your jar lid.
Not totally thawed all the way, but that's okay. We're going to get cooked.
So if you can see, we're leaving now 1 inch headspace on the top of the jars. Pack these things in there pretty good, and then we'll put the broth in there. Now we are adding 1 tablespoon of salt to each one. Usually you can do, I think the minimum is like a half tablespoon to 3/4 tablespoon for the pint, and a half. And then we'll fill it up with warm water or broth, whatever your choice is. Now we're adding the water to fill up till you have 1 inch of headspace left on the jar, and you can take a knife to around the edges. Make sure all the pockets get filled.
Get all the bubbles out.
We'll fill up some more. So we actually took, and I didn't get this on video, but we took boiling water or extremely hot water from even your faucet will work, but preferably boiling water. Set your jars and lids and rings in there to disinfect and clean. You can also use your dishwasher and do like a steam clean in order to disinfect your jars and lids and rings. So what Amy's doing right now is actually wiping off all the rims of the jars so that it has a good seal, there's no obstruction, and you'll end up putting your lids and rings on as soon as she's done cleaning those off.
So we're putting the lids and rings on, and you want to just tighten them down like enough that it's like just tight with your hand. You don't want to be too tight. Just to give room for the seal that's on the inside of your lid to actually stick to the jar itself.
Yeah, you don't want to over tighten them because you can cause basically, we'll call it a bind. And then also you want to be able to get them off after you're done with the pressure cooking, and you don't have to ream them off because you don't want to break the seal. So just hand tight, not crazy tight. That's all you have to do. We place one of these rings at the bottom of the pan. This is what actually sets it off from the bottom, so that way it reduces actually cracking on your jars, believe it or not. But just keeps it away from the bottom where the heat is so hot, and reduces any kind of issues that could have. We're adding the jars in. Let's see if we can. There we go.
I'm going to try and leave some space in between the jars, and if you can, keep them away from the edge of the pot as well.
But it does not hurt it if it does touch
Right.
the sides or if they touch each other.
We're sealing the pot here, and then
you're going to be doing 10 pounds is what you're going to set that at.
you'll notice that ours has different settings, so like there's a 5 pound, a 10 pound, and a 15. So we want the whichever weight it says to do on ours, you want to put it down.
Yeah, 10 pounds, and what it's going to do is you're going to turn up the heat to boil, and we have it set right now already going. And it's going to go rapidly. Once it starts jiggling rapidly is when you start your time, and the time is 1 hour and 15 minutes. And you can reduce the heat, but you don't want to reduce it too much. You don't want to keep fluctuating hot and cold, turn it up and down. The minimum jiggle back and forth on your weight is 4 jiggles per minute. You can't do any less than that. You want to have it more. So if it's jiggling a little bit better than that per minute, you're doing good. Yeah, you're going to watch it and set the time as soon as you start seeing that thing jiggle rapidly. Side note, when you are preheating this thing while you're filling your jars, do not seal the lid. If you seal the lid and you try and open it after there's pressure built up, you're going to get hurt. The steam will bust out in your face and it's going to be just a bad day. So safety note, do not seal the lid when you're preheating this thing. Otherwise, you will get hurt. Leave the lid off. In the video, I had left it on because I know, I do know what I'm doing. I know when to actually take it off and to, be sure of the pressure. So safety, safety, safety. Do not have the lid sealed on when you're preheating your pressure canner. Alright, this little booger started jiggling, so we'll see, going back and forth, it'll start rocking, but that's just the start of it. You'll see what it does here in a minute when we're ready to start the timer. Alright, so this thing's been going for about a minute. We know it's at the temperature and it's going to continue on. We'll adjust the temperature, but for now we're going to set the timer for 1 hour and 15 or 75 minutes. And we'll see you guys in a second. Okay, so we turned off the heat on the pressure cooker. It's been off for maybe about 2 minutes, so that's why the thing's not hissing anymore. I should say moving back and forth. On a big pressure cooker, you're going to wait about 45 minutes for the pressure to release naturally. Small, about 25 minutes to release naturally. One of the ways you can tell, don't use your hand, but I'm going to show you this anyway because I'm okay with it. You're not going to hear any more of that hissing steam when the pressure is gone. Do not remove that weighted pressure valve regulator because you do not want that thing to throw steam out, whatever. Just leave it alone and wait that time. Doesn't matter if you wait even longer than that, that's great. But do not let the pressure out by taking that weighted regulator off. And do not try and open the canner because it will blow up in your face basically. Your steam will come everywhere, you'll get hurt. So don't do that, wait the time, make sure the pressure's all the way gone. And then, safely take the valve off, make sure there's no more pressure built up, and then open it up. So we'll see you in a little bit. Alright, we waited time. I'm going to open it up, it's still steamy. Open it away from you so the steam goes away from you, doesn't hit your hands. I'll let the lovely take them out and put them over where we're going to let them dry. Still a little bubbly. They look good too.
So if you don't have one of these jar grabbers, This end, the red part is like rubbery, so it really does grip the jars really well. And these came in a kit that Ball Jar Company makes.
Not a sponsor
Yet.
Do dad reference. Yeah, don't use your hands or anything like that. I mean, you can, use a mitt, but you risk the chance of dropping them. So this is a whole lot easier to do this way. There you go. Looks mighty good. Okay, these things have been sitting here for only like a couple minutes, whatever. You can still see that they're still bubbling, and you got to wait 12 hours for them to cool down before you can actually move them around and store them and get them cooled off. Do not take a cloth with cold water to try and cool them down faster. Let them cool naturally in the house. If you put them into a cold area or put something cold on them, they will crack, they will break, and you have much more issues than you want to have and starting over. So all you're going to do is let them sit. Again, like I said, 12 hours and you're all set. That's canning your meat. There's different times for beef, venison, fish, but you can can all kinds of proteins, all meats, all games, wild bird, wild beast, and you can use all those different things and can them and have these things for later on. You can put seasonings in them. As you can see, I put jalapeno peppers in that one and jalapeno peppers in that one, just to give it an extra flavor. And it's awesome to put into stir fries, into stews, or put into fajitas, tacos, whatever. That's good stuff, you guys. So enjoy. Don't forget to like the video, comment, and share if you would too, and subscribe to the channel if you like what you're seeing. And we'll talk to you guys soon.